I was 8 years old the day my mother left me at Gate B17 in Amman International Airport. At that age, the world still felt simple, small enough to fit inside my purple suitcase and the soft, stuffed owl I never traveled without. I truly believed that this was supposed to be our first trip as a new family, as my mother kept calling it. Her, me, and her new husband, Daniel, along with his 2 children. I didn't understand then that a single moment can split a life in two. I didn't understand that I was about to step into the painful half. My mother crouched to my level, brushed a loose strand of hair from my face, and said, "Stay here, Mira. I'm just going to get coffee." Daniel and his kids walked ahead without even glancing at me. I watched them disappear into the crowd, dragging their suitcases like nothing in the world could ever shake them. 30 minutes passed, then another 30. People walked, rushed, left, arrived, everyone moving somewhere, except me. I held my little suitcase tighter and tried to pretend I wasn't afraid. When I finally called my mother, expecting her tired voice, expecting her smile and an apology, I heard something else entirely. "You're not coming with us, Mira. Daniel wants the trip to be for his family only. Figure something out." Then she hung up. The world went silent. Not the kind of silence that brings peace. This was the silence that happens before something shatters. I didn't cry immediately. I didn't scream. I simply stared at my phone like it had turned into a creature I didn't recognize. A child alone in a crowded airport is louder than any emergency alarm. Security took me gently but firmly to family services. They offered me juice I didn't drink and a blanket I didn't need. The social worker tried to call my mother several times, but she didn't answer. So she called my father. The man my mother always said didn't love me. The man she described as cold, irresponsible, unfit. But when he heard my name, when he heard my voice, he broke. "Mira, sweetheart, I'm coming right now." He sent his private charter plane, the one I didn't even know he owned, to pick me up. When I landed in the small, quiet airport in Irbid, I saw him standing at the entrance of the plane, eyes filled with tears that looked years old, as if he had been waiting my whole childhood for the chance to fall apart. "Mira," he whispered, pulling me into his arms. "I never left you, not one day. Everything your mother told you, it was all lies." Over the next few days, truths began to unravel like threads pulled loose from a sweater. My mother had prevented him from seeing me since I was 3 years old. She filed a false report accusing him of being an unfit father. She used me as leverage to receive higher child support. She married Daniel, who never wanted me in the picture to begin with. These weren't mistakes. They were choices, slow-burning, calculated choices that had shaped my entire childhood. My father immediately contacted his legal team. By the time my mother returned from her trip, she found my bedroom empty, the apartment door locked, and a white envelope on the kitchen table. Inside were 3 documents: a full custody transfer request, an official suspension of child support, and a report filed for child neglect and endangerment. Her lawyer told her, "Leaving an 8-year-old alone in an international airport could put you in prison." 2 weeks later, we faced each other in court. My mother looked smaller than I remembered, her composure cracking under the weight of her own actions. She tried to spin her decision into a moment of anger, a misunderstanding, anything that could soften the horror of what she did. The judge didn't blink. A child is not luggage you can leave behind because you're upset. Then he turned to me. "Who do you want to live with, Mira?" My dad's hand held mine, warm, steady, safe. My mother's eyes were wide, trembling, almost pleading. I felt something heavy inside me lift, as if a door that had been locked for years finally opened. I didn't hesitate. My dad. That was the day custody was granted to him completely. My mother received a restraining order for 6 months, mandatory therapy, and supervised visitation for any future contact. When she left the courtroom, her expression was a strange mixture of shock, anger, and something that looked almost like regret, but regret that came too late to matter. Life with my father was the opposite of everything I had known. Our home was filled with books stacked on every surface, the smell of fresh bread he baked every morning, and laughter that echoed through hallways that finally felt like mine. I began to heal without realizing it. Healing is quiet like that, slow, steady, unnoticed, until one day you breathe and it doesn't hurt anymore. Years passed, I grew, I learned, I rebuilt myself piece by piece. And when I was 15, a message arrived from my mother for the first time in 7 years. I'm sorry. I was weak. I know I hurt you. I read it without anger, but without longing too. I had outgrown the need for explanations. I replied with a single sentence. I forgive you, but I won't return. Now, at 20, I find myself standing once again in Amman International Airport. Same bright floors, same bustling halls, same gate in the distance. But I am no longer the child sitting alone with a stuffed owl and a purple suitcase. I'm the woman who walked out of that moment stronger than anyone expected. Sometimes the people we love leave us in the worst way, so we can finally find the person who loved us from the beginning. And I did.